We know body have lymphatic system is also is major function is clean the waste. However, the brain don't have lymphatic system. Brain actually cost like quarter of body's energy, produce large amount waste. How to actually effectively remove the waste is a long-standing question and not well answered. Traditionally, diffusion is the dominant mechanism for the waste clearance. However, not working well, especially is for a large size molecule. 7 years ago, I think it's mostly from a NetGuard group identify glymphatic system and show very promising result for the neurological disease, especially the neurodegenerative disease. A few years later, actually two independent groups found lymphatic vessel in the dura. However, so far, the detailed structure and functional relationship between the lymphatic system and the lymphatic route is still not clear. Also, is a dynamic waste clearance model for the glymphatic system also need to be developed. So my talk basically is more focused on the second part is glymphatic clearance analysis and modeling. My and analysis more based on the NetGuard's, the system basically is the CSF enter the brain through the para-artery route and mix with the interstitial flow, and then carry out the waste, go through the para-1 system. We know actually it's the last part, the goes one have more argument. For my analysis, I proposed modeling is works for not only when in the in my talk we actually analysis a model based on the glymphatic system. The animal model we actually is the diabetes animal model we use is the rat is a 13 months old rat with two kind of chemical injection. And this kind of diabetes model is more close to type 2 diabetes. Basically, is for model you can say insulin positive cell is decreased, and the islet shape is you can say is if you look. So is the glucose. If you look how to get the pointer. Which one? Oh, this one. Okay. Glucose actually increase. One actually advantage of this model is we can very easily control the severity of diabetes. Like you say the glucose. The 2 months after this animal model formed diabetes, and then the severity is increased with the time. The NMR measurement basically follows NetGuard group's study. We first is run 3 baseline control scan and then continue run 6 hours after injection, the systolic micro injection. validate MR data, we also perform ex vivo laser confocal measurement. In the laser confocal measurement, we inject two kinds of fluorescent agent. One is a large size agent. One is a smaller size. This is compatible with NMR control agent. Sacrifice the animal at 10 minutes, 3 hours, and 6 hours after injection. We also perform the histo analysis. Basically, for this model, vascular could be damaged. So we use the fibrin depletion EA to evaluate vascular damage. We also stand aquaporin 4 and GFAP for histo analysis. We also perform the functional test, water maze test, and olfactory learning and memory test. For MR analysis, we basically early use relative sample analysis. We use two-phase model to get clearance time. And we also use cluster analysis. Basically, you can view the pattern of pattern difference between diabetes and no diabetes animal. This actually is dynamic trace concentration change in different group animal. The top line is control. And actually, 1 month diabetes is after injection, 1 month after. This actually basically is pre-diabetic state. 2 months become diabetes. And 3 months, the diabetes is more severe. So if you look at the no diabetes animal, it's right after injection, you can see is cisternomegaly area is increased intensity. 15 minutes after injection, you can see is pituitary resize is increased. And then you see is the contraagent move to the olfactory bubble resize area. And then you see it's gradually into the brain. If you look at the artery tree, the red line from here, basically is the after injection, the contraagent follow the artery tree into the brain. And if you look with the diabetes animal, even for 1 month pre-diabetes state, if you look carefully, the intensity, actually in the 1 month diabetes also increased slightly compared to control. With the severity increase, you can see clearly more contraagent stay in the brain and less contraagent, move out. You can see the whole brain. And we also perform the quantitative analysis. We basically normalize data with the control, the 3 control scan. And you can see the bottom is no diabetes control. This is 1 month diabetes, 2 months, 3 months. You can see it's a very clear difference, even for the pre-diabetes state. Later, I'm going to show you some other measurement, like histo measurement and functional measurement. Although in functional measurement, you can see slightly difference, but it's really not as large as this one. And from this profile, we actually get 2 sensitive parameters to differentiate the group. One is called the residual intensity, means the end of experiment 6 hours after, you minus pre-scan, you can see the difference. This actually is a pretty sensitive parameter. Another parameter is we basically use two-phase analysis. We actually not analyze the input part, basic clearance part. The clearance part also show significant difference. We actually have a quantitative value for the for each group. You can see is quantitatively you can very easy to differentiate the group. Next one is I'm not sure you can see. We actually try to validate the NMR result use laser scan confocal. In the laser scan confocal, if you look at the image, the green actually is the large particle. Most stay in the paravascular space. But if you look at the red color, this actually is compatible with the NMR counteragent. And then you can see is 30 minutes is mouse is around the paravascular para-artery space, and 3 hours after you can see whole brain is have the tracer, and 6 hours after you basically is in the control. You actually see most the agent actually is the fluorescent agent clean out. However, in diabetic animal, you still see the counteragent stay there, not counteragent, fluorescent agent. And especially if you look the hippocampus area, the hippocampus area, you see this control is only a little bit left, is most clean out. However, in the diabetes, you see it's a small area with the fluorescent agent. And the next one, we actually is try to evaluate the different area, how the profile change. Actually, with MRI, you can actually evaluate the whole brain. Any area, if you're interested, you can actually evaluate. We basically just choose this hippocampus, actually, we already show. And we also show the hypothalamus and the olfactory bubble. Actually, it shows a little bit different profile. But for the analysis, also is the residual intensity and the clearance time is most sensitive parameter to differentiate the group. These two actually basic from the laser scan confocal measurement. This measurement basic very compatible with our NMR measurement. We actually have a quantitative value over here. Basically, the laser scan confocal measurement is validate MR result. And then we perform another analysis, is the cluster-based analysis. What we do is we basically check the temporal profile for each pixel. If the pixel with the profile like the light blue or red one shows quicker input and quicker clearance, we assign this kind of pixel is called fast Glymphatic pathway. And if we look the middle one, the green one, this actually is increase a little bit slow and decrease also a little bit slow. We show this kind of pixel is intermediate Glymphatic pathway. And then also have the dark blue, the very slow increase, very slow clearance. We see this one is the slow glymphatic pathway. And then we back project the color into the brain. You basically can say this is diabetes, this is no diabetes, this basic pathway. And we actually found a very interesting result for this analysis. The first result is the diabetes animal have a large area with fast glymphatic pathway. If you really look the area actually with light blue and red color, this actually basically is paravascular, close related paravascular space. And this actually is another way to actually measure the paravascular space. Actually, it's from published data, diabetes did actually increase the paravascular space. Actually, we actually use this kind of analysis. I could confirm the result. Another also is very interesting is diabetes animal actually shows decrease in the area with the intermediate clearance pathway. And this means the large accumulation of solute in the diabetes animal might be caused by reduced intermediate glymphatic pathway in the disease model. So this basically gives some interesting information. And we also perform the histopathology analysis. With the increase the severity of the diabetes, this 2 months is 4 months. You can say you have a fibrin leakage, and also it's EBA staining. You can say is shows some kind of vascular damage. It's the glymphatic system actually very closely related to the vascular. When vascular damage and the glymphatic system actually is affected. Another actually for this model also is pretty interesting. Also, if you increase severity of the diabetes, actually is the A beta actually increased too. We have quantitative analysis. We also perform the GFAP analysis. Actually, GFAP is in diabetes is increased, and acetylcholine-4 in the vascular in the paravascular area actually is decreased. This is a functional test. The functional test, you can see, actually, this is actually hard to see the color. This actually, you can see, basically show in diabetes animal, the functional, actually is have more functional deficit. I want you pay attention to this, the dark green line. This actually is 1 month after injection. This is called pre-diabetes state. And you can see the functional, you can see a little bit decrease, but actually it's no statistic difference. Also, is the difference is much smaller compared to the regular the analysis, use the profile analysis. And then we perform, this actually is perform correlation analysis between the functional test and this first is did is for the fluorescent deposition in the hippocampus area. actually the area with the fluorescent tracer is significantly correlated to functional deficit for both. This actually have a pretty high correlation. We also perform the NMR data. This NMR data is use residue intensity. Although the correlation also is significant, but the R value is much smaller than the fluorescent evaluation. Now I show you some model. Actually, our model is I think is compare most your model actually is much simple. Since I'm actually MR physicist, I more actually use MRI related modeling. This model actually is very close to the vascular permeability model. We basically say the tracer from per artery into the parenchyma. In the parenchyma, you actually have two compartments. One is a free tracer, one is a bonding tracer. And then from the brain, you move out from this part. Actually, we basically follow the Glymphatic, the concept we say is from paravan, but for the analysis, basically is if you move out from maybe peri-arterial, actually it's okay too. This actually model is work. We actually basic modify the temporal profile of this. The most interesting actually we did is for the CP. CP is called the input function. This actually is MRI actually very popular. So far, the MRI perfusion and permeability measurement all use actually global input function. However, global input function induce arrows. But in the vascular system, the arrow is small. But in the this like a glymphatic system, since the tracer exchange with intertissue fluid, and then if you use global input function, induce large arrow for this analysis. This is why we actually spend more time try to get local input function. Actually, this study actually is published online. You actually can look the paper of this one, have more detail how actually we did the analysis. Oh, okay. And now it's we use the equation try to resolve this, and this is the solution. Two parameters actually is very interesting. One is retention is basic bonding tracer. This is a clean tracer, and we also use this analysis to get one potential model. We get more parameter, and now is I show some result. This like arriving time. The control actually in paravascular area, you have a quicker arriving time. Infusion rate actually is in the diabetes actually not so sensitive, but in tumor actually is have some interesting. The residue you can see is the diabetes have more residue compared to control, and then the clearance constant, you can say is diabetes spend more time to clean. Retention basically is bonding tissue. Actually, also diabetes have more bonding. Loss is clearance. Actually, control have more. Actually, is clearance. The advantage of this is easy identify which area actually have affected by the disease. Also, is unsupervised, and also provide quantitative measurement. Okay. Yeah, use this model. You basically can improve the result, and then the human data actually compare. Human data basically shows similar result as Dr. Aidan did. So this conclusion basically is provide the whole brain dynamic information for Glymphatic system, and also provide sensitive marker for the neural disease. This confocal can actually validate this actually NMR is really bridge for potential human study. Actually, all the analysis here actually developed in animal actually can use for human, and potential have some. And finally, as thanks actually our group is also for early time we collaborate with Dr. Nedgar. We actually visiting their lab. Actually, is the start our initial study. Thank you for your attention. Yeah.
Any questions? Need to be quick.
Yeah.
I just have a comment rather than a question.
Okay.
So we have a model of diabetes in Southampton, and we've just recently characterized the basement membranes using electron microscopy, and they are significantly thicker in the diabetic model compared to, which is not surprising because the same thing happens in the kidney.
Okay.
But it's just not been described in the brain. So it obviously that will impact on the traffic of both fluids, interstitial and CSF.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
it might be useful to measure your basement membranes and see if...
Yeah. I actually listened your talk both in the NMR meeting and here. Just give me more information. Actually, we haven't go the deep to say the efflux pathway, especially the MRI. We can't go that deep. Yeah, but it's very interesting actually to see how the resolve the conflict between the paravenous and the peri artery actually. Yeah.
Okay, let's thank our speaker again.
Okay.